Stay with it. You don't need to water it down. No.
Why are they showing it? Oh my
That's
God.
Snapchat.
It's not Snapchat. It's video. So guys, I went to see the priest, and then he gave me stuff. Let me just show you. He gave me a lot of things. He gave me this. He said I shouldn't give it out. That is a gift. Youth catechism. That was it. And I appreciate this a lot. And then I told him to inscribe his name and all on it, and he did. And he gave me all the biscuits, gum, orbits, and all of those. Yeah, she's leaving. Sorry, mommy. Don't mind now. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So at this point I was already packing up, and my sister, of course, she was doing the most. If you are new here, please do consider subscribing. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. This is a fun vlog. You would enjoy every bit of this vlog, trust me. And leave in the comment section when you do, okay? Say goodbye. So here I was tying nylons to my bags. My mom said I should do it. I didn't understand yet until I came to the UK. Then I understood. Hello, traveler. I'm in New York City jamming. And hello. Don't show my leg. What is that? Oh, not disgracing. Don't worry. At least that will be the last thing I do for you. Okay, so the person that's going, fear of God. Hey, oh God, hello. This doesn't attack us every day. Come and video me too. So that's why I went to go and carve my brother. This one is going to Jericho. This other one is going to UK. What is this one? Hey, yeah. I was saying your song, living on sweet. This doesn't attack us every day. And that's And so my journey began. I left home about 6 or 7 hours earlier before my flight time because I did not want to hear stories that touched. And then I got poorly on the way and I needed it. I was so stressed. I did last minute packing. It was not easy. I was overwhelmed and then I was stressed. I had migraine. It wasn't easy. And of course I had company because I needed company. I can't just do this thing alone, especially the check-ins, okay? So we got to the airport and I had to weigh my bags and make sure they were up to standard, 23 kg each. And then my hand luggage, I needed it to be flat and not have big protruding stomach, you get. And this was just the beginning of our journey. Lots of queue and everything. Living Nigeria is not for the faint-hearted. Like, we stood for a long time. Every process had queues, every process. And there's no preference except you're pregnant or you're aged. I see shege no be small. But I was determined that I will leave. So we came to this area where they had to check our hand luggages and backpacks. So you'd have to remove your shoe, drop everything. Only you yourself would pass through the doorway. This is me going through a lot. I got to the airport about 6 p.m. and this was 8:45 p.m. So I spent almost 3 hours checking in and all. And we're not done, no. This was around the boarding time. So we're waiting. So people were just passing to find their seats and all. Stress, no dey finish. So when I entered the airplane, I was like, this is my seat. It's so spacious. I didn't knew what was coming. It was just like Airbus. And then they gave us this stuff. They gave us headphone and something to wrap ourselves. Wrapper. I think it's a wrapper. And then this purse that contained pen, toothbrush, toothpaste, and a couple of stuff. I think lip balm was also part of it.
Purchase your tracks today.
Remember, I mentioned that I had migraine. This was majorly because I had not slept for days and because I did last minute packing. So I also had the remaining part of my bole while I was waiting for the flight time, and this was just the worst mistake because it made my stomach too full. I couldn't do anything. So when they served us this juice and snack, I had to force myself to take it because I was like, my money will not waste. Next thing, I was so gassed up. I was so uncomfortable. I tried to watch film. I couldn't. I tried to track the flight. It wasn't even getting to me at all. I was just wanting to sleep. So I just tried listening to music, and I think that was helping. But then next thing, they served us the menu for food. And I was like, why are you disturbing my sleep? I knew that I was not going to have any of these. I wasn't hungry because my stomach was filled with bole and fish and the juice and the snack I had. But I was like, okay. My neighbor said, let my money not waste. At this point, I was not thinking of money. I was thinking of me being in good health because I felt so uncomfortable. I couldn't even stretch properly. And then the flight experience, your head will be turning you, just one or two problems. But then I was just trying to sleep because I know it wasn't that deep. I just needed rest. Then the food came. Honestly, I was not interested. I just slept, leaving the food there. But then I saw my neighbor eating the bread and I felt okay, the bread could help. So I ate bread and then I gave my neighbor the cake. I didn't even take it. Then I think I ate the vegetable salad because I felt it could help me. And then and there was rice. Yes, I ate rice too inside the foiled plate. I ate rice too. I just tried to eat so that maybe it could help my tummy, but it didn't. So I just slept off. In no time, we got to London. I felt better because I had slept. This was us leaving the plane, and I was just looking at the business class zone. I was like, it's good to have money. It is. We headed straight to the UK border where they will ask you lots of questions. Then I went to check for connecting flights to Manchester. My flight to Manchester was by 8:55 and this was about 6 a.m. So I was just walking around the airport. I knew I was not going to buy anything. I wasn't even hungry because I had eaten enough the night before. So I was just moving around. And then I observed how cool the airport was, unlike the airport in Nigeria. You don't even need to stand in queues to be allowed into a place. You just place your boarding pass on a machine and then it grants you access. But in Nigeria, they will have to stamp it. Everybody's on one. Aye, we have a long way to go. Oh well, I was just walking around, looking at places, making videos for you guys to see. Now it was 7:12. We still had like an hour plus to go. I had where to charge my phone and I even rested. I was hungry at some point, but I was not ready to spend my small money. The sun came up and I wanted to see myself in a broad sun. See the glow. So guys, I am currently going to look for my gate for my next flight before they will leave me at Heathrow. So for this flight, I was able to sit by the window, so I was ready to give you window view. The plane started and it moved on the runway for almost 10 minutes, if not more, before it even took off. And I was like, wow, I thought it's just going to start immediately. This was my second time. Yesterday was my first, so this is my second time. And then I just began to think that sometimes we humans, I was just thinking out loud though, that we humans, we just think that if we want to succeed, we just begin to fly immediately. We forget that there's time for us to run, walk, in short, crawl before even flying. Like I was just thinking out loud while watching this beautiful view. I was so grateful to God for this experience while I watched this whole view because I knew how long I had been planning this. Like I was super grateful to God. I was feeling better now. I was not sick any longer. The speed increased and I knew that takeoff time was close. And also from previous flights, the last flight, I knew that your head is going to be turning you. And woo! We're taking off immediately. Like, ah! I was happy. I was happy. This was the second time though, but then it felt like the first because I was able to see the fin or the wing of the airplane. Just imagine the view. Isn't it beautiful? My flight last night was in the night, so I couldn't see anything. But just see now, this is beautiful. Like, at some point, the pilot began to tilt the airplane, and I felt like putting my hand out of the window and feeling the breeze and just shouting, "Ooh!" You know those things they used to do now. It was interesting. And then when the clouds, next thing we're above the clouds, and isn't this beautiful? They began to share snacks, and this snack I don't understand it. It was filled with sugar. It was just off for me. And this was the hand sanitizer. Is it sanitizer? Well, it's a sanitary towel they gave us. So I just had to eat because I was hungry this time. I had eased off all the problems I had with my stomach the previous night, and now I was really hungry. So we had reached Manchester Airport, and this flight from London to Heathrow to Manchester was just 35 minutes. So this was us touching down, and it shook us like it would just shake the airplane when you touch down. At this point, I began to think of the new life I was going to start at my new place. I was just imagining living life alone. Like this was the first time I was living alone. I was just imagining how it's going to be. Of course, I know that God has my back. Like He has my back in all things. But then I was just thinking, as a human being, an overthinker that I am, how I was going to just start, adapt, and everything. So this was us waiting for our luggage. So this is where that nylon I tied on my bag was helpful, because if I had not done that, I wouldn't be able to identify my bag. And imagine two people had similar bags, it would have just been a disaster because it's either someone who would take someone else's bag. So at this point, my purple bag was already coming. So something worthy of note is this: if you want to take a trolley from the area where it's kept, you'd have to put a coin through so that you can pick a trolley. Now I couldn't vlog that part, but a lot of people were stranded because they couldn't get the trolley. So you have to put a coin, and then the trolley will be released for you. Else you carry a load on your head. Immediately I stepped out of the airport, it felt like AC was on somewhere. And then I quickly remembered that I am in the abroad and everywhere is cold. So I quickly wore my gloves, entered my Uber before I go and freeze in a white man's land.